showcasing local talent, professionals, and everyday people making Salt Lake City what it is today. It's time for another episode of the I Am Salt Lake podcast.
I want to welcome you out today to episode 219 of I Am Salt Lake podcast. My name's Chris Hollifield. I am your host. Welcome to the show, everybody. Thank you so much for coming back. Coming back week after week as I continue this journey here in Salt Lake City, sitting down, chatting with people that are making the city a really cool place to live, making it a place that I can be proud of, making it a place that I could be proud to call home. I have a great show today. I sit down in this episode with Nick Ferrari from Music Makes Music and Michael Barclay from Make It Louder Festival. Really cool festival happening May 14th at the Gallivan Center. We're going to be getting into that here in just a minute. I, of course, want to tell you about our show sponsor, Oleo Skin and Beard. If you haven't had a chance to check them out, go to their website, oleoskin.com. These guys are great. Great local company from Salt Lake City. They're making all kinds of great beard oils, beard wash, skin oils, some different face washes. You've heard about them on the podcast. If you've been following along, you've had a chance to hear my story. Chrissy's talked about them. We've shared all the awesome things that their products are doing. I just started using, they make this hop beard oil, and this stuff will get your beard nice and soft. Go over to oleoskin.com. Use the promo code IAMSaltLake. It's going to give you 25% off of your entire purchase. They'll ship anywhere, so use that promo code even if you're living outside of Utah. Again, oleoskin.com. Use the promo code IAMSaltLake. Hey, speaking of festivals, Crucial Fest is coming up. I've had a chance to talk about them for the last few years. Crucial Fest 6. It's happening June 15th through the 18th right here in Salt Lake City. There are some great bands playing this year. Some great Salt Lake City local bands have reunited and decided to play Crucial Fest. Former Rocket. You remember these guys? I used to go check them out back in the day when I used to go to a lot of hardcore shows here in Salt Lake City. And so when I found out Former Rocket was playing Crucial Fest this year, I was blown away. And I mean, I got to get them on the podcast. That's actually the goal, is to get Former Rocket, the New Transit Direction, on this podcast. I got to talk to both these bands and find out why they're playing Crucial Fest 6. Go to crucialfest.com. You can buy tickets there. You can see all the bands that are going to be playing this year and get more information about Crucial Fest 6. Again, happening in Salt Lake City, June 15th through the 18th. All right. I want to give a shout out. This is kind of interesting. This is kind of fun. So a few months ago, Chrissy got me a VCR. You know, kind of one of those things I wanted, and you know, kind of start collecting some VHS tapes, something a little bit different. You know, they're fun. You can go to the DI and you can get one for 50 cents and watch it. And there's nothing like watching an old Disney movie in its original true format, in my opinion. Anyway, a listener of the podcast, Marco from Ogden, she hooked me up with a big stack of VHS movies, and I want to give a shout out and a thank you to her for that. Really cool of her to do that. And so I just wanted to mention that on this episode of the podcast. Hey, IamSaltLake.com is the website for the podcast, folks. Head on over there, find out more about the show. You can listen to the entire back catalog right there on the website. There's links for iTunes, Stitcher Radio on the website as well. Like I said, this episode, Nick Ferrari, Michael Barclay join me. We're going to talk about the Make It Louder Festival, May 14th at the Gallivan Center. The great lineup of bands, Story of the Year, Emery, Grizzfolk, tons of DJs, Burnell Washburn, Broke City. I mean, there's a band you're going to want to check out. Again, their website, milofestival.com. All the links are at iamsaltlake.com. Stay tuned for after this episode, and you will find out ways that you can actually win 2 VIP tickets to the Make It Louder Festival. We're going to give away 2 VIP tickets to the Make It Louder Festival. Stay tuned to the very end of this podcast, though, to find out how you can win. So anyway, without further ado, let's jump into this interview. It was recorded at the Utah Musician Studio here in Salt Lake City, so many thanks to them. But here's the interview with Michael and Nick as we talk about Make It Louder and Music Makes Music. I feel like I know Nick very well with our drive in.
Yeah, we go a long ways. Well, 10 miles back.
No, well, we knew each other through Ryan, sort of.
But we only met that once, the dinner party at Emma's.
Yeah.
She's a classy girl.
You know, and I think you actually gave me an Uber ride one time.
That could be. Awesome. Because you are familiar.
I think
that beard.
I think you gave me an Uber ride from like the Avenues when I lived in the Avenues. I'm just testing out the volume here while I'm trying to get
what address?
It was like First Avenue. Oh, yeah. I don't know. Are you an Uber driver too, Michael?
I'm not.
You're not an Uber driver.
I don't drive Uber. I do.
You just get Ubered.
I get Ubered.
I'm going to have you each start. Give me a random fact. Something that nobody might know. I don't know, some fun fact. Maybe you're a musician that you're not, a guilty pleasure, a favorite video game, favorite movie that people wouldn't expect. Just something random.
Something random. Well, I am currently addicted to the song Battlefield by Jordan Sparks.
There you go.
Why does love always feel like a battle? Yeah, for some reason I love it.
It's catchy.
And what about you, Nick? What is something random, just a random fun fact about Nick Ferrari?
I don't know if it's fun. It's fun for everybody else. I lit myself on fire when I was 16.
Really? You lit yourself on fire?
Well, I lit the car on fire, and then the car ignited my arm while I was driving. But everything's okay.
Why? So, why did you light your car on fire?
Well, I mean, it was an accident.
Okay.
But
so it wasn't like a dare?
No.
That's where you're going to end it. Well, anyway, I mean, we're going to chat about
random.
We're going to chat about Music Makes Music and the Make It Louder Festival. This is going to be a fun conversation just because we have two different things, but then they joined forces and created one big thing.
True story.
From what I understand. But Nick, let's start with Music Makes Music. Did I say it right? Right? It's music. Yeah. Music Makes Music. How did you get involved with it? What's the story there?
So 6 years and a few months ago, I was touring with a band called Going Second.
Were you in the band Going Second? What do you play? What instrument?
I play drums.
Okay.
So me and I co-founded Music Makes Music with Mike Crowder, who was a guitarist for Going Second, and he still is. And we were touring around the country. We were trying to make it big in Hollywood and be rock stars. And we were asked to play a show at a school.
At a school in Utah or outside of Utah?
Yeah, just one here in kind of the Harriman area.
Okay.
And it was a middle school, and we were kind of taken back by the reception, and the teens kind of they took it in pretty well. So there was no story or message like Music Makes Music is today. It was just a show, and there's no message or anything about it. We just rocked out, and then it was an assembly for the kids. There's just something special that one of the teachers wanted to do for them, and then we took that and said, "Wow, how do we do that again?" And slowly started calling schools, principals, middle schools and high schools around our area, and slowly but surely developed the program into what it is today, 6 years later.
So what is the message? I mean, for people listening, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people listening that aren't familiar with Music Makes Music.
So Music Makes Music is a nonprofit organization. It's designed to educate, motivate, and inspire teenagers to get involved with music and the arts, live drug-free, healthy lifestyles, and continue their education. And it's the program is coupled with positive messages of hope, connection, and helps teens with many things that they struggle with, like addiction, self-harm, suicide, bullying, things that they have to deal with in their lives. So it's a pretty big program. We do a rock concert at middle schools in the form of an assembly. So it's a full day event at the school. We arrive actually the day before, so it's a day and a half. We work with the school's band, choir, and orchestra. We get the teens involved. Send sheet music months in advance to get the school's own music programs involved. And it's
pretty cool. I was watching, there's a video on your website that kind of explains it, which I'll link it up with this podcast so people can even go get a better idea what it is. Because I mean, it seems really, really neat. I mean, what's the response been like from schools? I mean, pretty cool.
It's been amazing. I mean, on our website and YouTube channel, we have over 150 testimonials from teachers, principals, students that are advocating for the program. But yeah, it's pretty powerful. I mean, it's a full day. So the show is just the assembly. It's just the beginning of the program. But once the kids see, and the kids have no idea who Going Second is. When we arrive at the school, they start to learn this is the band setting up a stage. We set up a 30-foot stage, lights. It's a pretty big show, and it's very theatrical. You know, kids look up to Hollywood, they look up to rock stars, and generally the message isn't the most positive or uplifting.
Sure.
So we just build rock stars that are positive, motivational speakers. And then after the show, that's when we really get engaged by breaking off into groups, going and visiting, reinforcing the messages that we say on stage in classrooms and one-on-one at lunch, signing autographs, selling merchandise to, promote the program and kind of help fund it.
Are schools, it seems like a lot of the schools are cutting funding though for music. Has that affected at all what you're doing or not?
Yeah,
really?
there's never enough funding for schools.
For anything.
For anything, right? There's never enough funding. But I mean our program is well underfunded. But yeah, I mean we don't have the funding to put back into the schools. Uh-huh. But I mean, dream big. That's what we'd like to do. That's one of the things I would like to do with the program is find the funding to help with schools, music programs, and arts programs.
Okay. How can people like that are listening right now, can they help out at all? Like an average person, say I was listening and I don't have kids in school, but I was like, oh, that seems like a pretty cool thing to get involved in.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many ways you can help. The easiest one, I'm the development director for Music Makes Music and co-founder. So I'm trying to build a home office here in Salt Lake, something that once we're on tour, everybody sees us. We have this great thing going on, but when we come back, this is our home city and we just don't have a place to call home. So I'm working really hard with the community here to kind of build that, a warehouse space or something to call home. But funding, just a small campaign that we've launched about a year and a half ago is, and you can see it on musicmakesmusic.org, but it's just a video that shows the program. And then at the end of it, it asks, to fund this program, 60 cents a day, $18 a month, reoccurring. So it's something you'd sign up for, for a year or two. And if we were to gain, just say, sounds like a lot, but 400 of those, we create our own sustainability with funding. And then we can kind of focus on the program instead of just trying to fundraise all the time.
Yeah.
But that's the biggest way people can get involved is just going on our website and donating.
And obviously, if somebody's listening that wants you to come to their school, they can reach out as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, info@musicmakesmusic.org is how you get a hold of us.
Cool. And I'll get all those links at iamsaltlake.com with the podcast as well. Mm-hmm. Well, let's jump in to get Michael. He's sitting over here just like, I want to jump in and talk.
I love listening to him talk about this.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds really, really cool. And I'm sure we'll touch more about it as well. I mean, that's the joy of a podcast is you can kind of jump all over the place and
then edit it back together.
Get it all back together. But I just kind of wanted a little bit of introduction because then this will lead us into how Music Makes Music got involved with the Make It Louder Festival. Let's get into that, right? I mean, share that story. How did you two meet?
I actually met Nick last year around September time for a event that I did called Chill Fest. It was down at Thanksgiving Point.
It was called Chill Fest?
Yeah, Chill Fest. There's T-Pain and Us the Duo and Salento, the Watch Me Whip, Watch Me Nay Nay kid. So he was there. It's ridiculous. But we did that show, and the guy who ran the show was, he brought Music Makes Music in. And so they had a booth and kind of got some exposure there. And I've been a musician for my entire life and have always been very passionate about arts and music and all that kind of stuff. And so I loved what they were doing and what the message was, because really, if you think about it, the next generation, and if you watch what's happening in, news and media and all the stuff with teenagers and kids, and it's nice to see that there's people at least attempting to have a positive influence on kids and on the upcoming generation that is going to raise the next generation of kids.
Uh-huh.
So I started to do Make It Louder, which we started planning back in August. I got some funding from an investor who decided to help me out. I've been doing this for about 5 years, but this is the first one that I've done by myself. So once we got things rolling with this festival, I reached out to Nick and said, hey, I've got this show. It's more indie pop or indie rock, and it's right up your alley. I've kind of seen the stuff that you do and what Going Second does, which is very punk, pop punk, rock and roll type stuff. Why don't we join up and see what happens? And he said, great, and we've just kind of rolled with it from there. And honestly, Nick's he's one of the guys that I bounce a bunch of ideas off on, and it's just turned into a partnership over anything else, rather than just one of the nonprofit sponsor is what a lot of people will do. But my goal with anybody that I partner with, as you know from what we've talked about, I'm more interested in building something that benefits everybody, and we all get to throw ideas around and just have a good time with it. So
why don't we say it before we get too far, the date of the Make It Louder Festival at Gallivan Center?
It's May 14th. May 14th. Saturday, May 14th.
And it's like an all-day deal, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Doors will be at 12, and then we'll start music at about 1 o'clock.
Okay.
And then it'll run till 10, which is Salt Lake sound curfew. And then in between each act, we actually have DJs. So we'll have a scissor lift off to the side of the stage, and then rather than just dead air when we're turning over equipment and changing for the new band, then we'll have a DJ go up and spin some music and kind of keep a dance party going, and a bunch of other things that people can go do, and then on to the next band.
That sounds great, man. And so you said this isn't your first year. You've been doing these for a while?
I've been working in the industry for about 6 years. I got brought in by X96. Actually, they did a bunch of them are friends of mine, and so I used to go run the stage for Big Ass Show and Summer Jam. Did a show back in 2010 called Candlelight Serenade with 311 and Third Eye Blind and a bunch of people. So I've done events over the span of about 6 years now, and
so you have some experience.
Sure, yeah. I've been doing it for a while, but I only run them. So I get brought in, and they basically, I manage the logistics of the stage and make sure that everything runs and that the sound is on and working and sounds good, and I coordinate with the engineers. So, but in the process of that time, I've learned quite a bit about how to do it and how the proper way to build something and build a brand with a festival is. So this is the first year that this one is me. It's money I've invested and money that I've accrued and put into something to build a festival that's different than just a concert.
So what? Okay, I mean, it must be pretty stressful putting it together, right? I mean, to put it lightly. I mean, what's the hardest thing with putting on a festival?
Well, I'll echo what Nick said, money. It's constantly trying to find avenues to make sure that everybody gets taken care of and that we have what we need. Obviously, bands cost money, and then you have security, you have fencing that's going to go around Gallivan to make sure people can't just walk into the show. There's the sound equipment. There's even things down to minor stuff like tablecloths and tables and couches and chairs and things like that for a green room. Stuff that nobody ever thinks about. Lighting.
Are you worried that you might forget something?
Sometimes, yeah. I've got a pretty extensive list going on my computer. So I try, basically, I've gotten to the point now where even if it's something that I think is completely ridiculous, I'm still like, fuck it, I'm just going to write it down anyways, because who knows? Maybe I'm going to get to the day before and be like, oh, crap.
But are there many people helping you, like with all that part of it? Or is Nick helping you at all? Are you helping him, Nick?
On the logistics side, not much. I mean, no.
Gosh, I kind of want to help you just because that sounds like a lot.
I have a couple people that help. As far as like logistics go, that's mainly me. I've got my partner Brian, who he lives in Texas. We both co-own the company that's producing this. So he helps me with a lot of the research stuff, so permits and things like that for selling alcohol and selling food. And then insurance for the venue and all those types of things. He'll research into it, and then we get it rolling and kind of do it together. But the majority of it is just my connections and my experience, because I've been doing it for so long that it's just easier for me to take care of it. And everybody wants to get paid. Like I could hire an assistant to have me come help, but
then you'd have to pay them,
right? At this point, it doesn't make sense to do that.
Dry for money,
right? So it makes more sense to put it into building a great event for this first year. And then, 3 years from now, and we have millions of dollars and we're doing huge things, then sure, I'll have 3 assistants. But as of right now, it's just easier to spend 18 hours a day working on it.
So what do you know now that you wish you would have known in the beginning? That's a pretty easy question. Maybe, no? Like, or even a tip, like say somebody wanted to put on some sort of festival. A tip or something that you wish you would have known.
Well, I guess the first one that comes to my mind would be unique. Salt Lake is notoriously saturated with promoters.
Trying to mimic stuff and
yeah, there's just a bunch of people that have money, and so they decide to be a promoter and they want to throw a show, but they have zero clue how to make it their own, and it just turns into another concert, and people don't really get that interested, or they don't understand the process of how to really develop it out and budget properly and make sure that they're following through on promises and things like that. So that happens a ton in Salt Lake City. So it's just a matter of being unique and then making sure that you are budgeting within your own means, essentially. So as long as you're able to follow through with what you say you're going to do, that's really the biggest tip that I could possibly give to anybody. Is just, if you're going to do it, then make sure you follow through with it and make sure that the people that you work with are taken care of and that they know that you're taking care of them. From a logistical side, the most difficult part of all of this has been booking the bands. Usually, again, I got brought in for the shows, so I didn't have to deal with any of the booking. I had connections that knew agents, but I personally didn't have that network.
Yeah.
So the timeline ended up being a little different as far as booking things, because when you're a brand new person, anybody can book a band. You can reach out to the agency and say, like, all their information's on their website, and you email them and say, hey, I'm interested in this band. How much are they? Or what's their range is typically the proper question. So, and they'll give you a range of about $10,000, so $30,000 to $40,000. And then, are they available? That's the way the conversations usually start. But being that you're new, usually they want to see proof that you're for real about things, which requires a deposit, a contract, and things like that. So once you develop the relationships, it gets a little easier. So at this point, it wouldn't be difficult anymore. But I mean, it took about 6 months to really break down the door and say, like, hey, okay, no, I'm legit. Like, the money's there. Let's do this. Which the timeline affected a lot of other things, because I can't just go say, like, hey, we're doing a show. Well, yeah. Well, who's playing? I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
We had no idea. We haven't figured that out yet.
So back to you said make it unique.
Mm-hmm.
What's unique about this festival? What are you doing that's setting this apart from other festivals?
So the message that has this did start out as just a festival. The idea was just to have a festival, and then I was going to bring Music Makes Music in just to have a little bit of the extra pull and make sure that they got some exposure too, because I liked it. But what it's turned into is something that is a concert and fun for everybody that comes. B is something that helps build the community. So what you'll see at Make It Louder is a lot of local businesses, local artists, people within Salt Lake City and the surrounding areas that influence the economy, that influence the lifestyle of Salt Lake, and really helping them get exposure and help build that up into something where people go, oh, that's cool. What are they doing? Even just walking by some random guy that paints things that happens to be from Orem or something like that.
Sure.
But you never would have seen him unless you came out to the show and happened to be able to support the local stuff. And then obviously a cause. So really the goal behind this is to have a fun musical experience. That's part of it. And then to have a good time with all the other stuff. We'll have a mini farmer's market with artists and local businesses and stuff like that. We're going to try to get some kid stuff like bounce houses, and they actually have
so
this
that's
like
still in the
bubble
works.
tower.
I mean, well, okay, so let's talk about that a little bit, because we were talking on the phone. I mean, you're going to have vendors there, artists. I mean, you're still obviously getting all that set up, so you probably don't know everything that's going to be there, right?
Yeah.
Or is that
Not yet. We're getting there.
I mean, but how do you envision it? I mean, what do you see? I mean, just kind of different. Like, how many vendors do you hope to have there? I don't know. I mean,
the way that we have it mapped out right now, we have room for about 80.
Oh wow! So you have quite a bit.
Yeah,
I mean, that's more than just music. I mean, you can come there and kind of like you say, downtown farmers market with the craft vendors. Are you going to have? I mean, I guess food, maybe some food trucks there.
Yeah, I've reached out to a few food trucks. I think Cup Bop is interested, and we're working details out on that.
They are so good.
And then
they are so good.
The other one I'm talking to right now is Cheddar Burger.
Okay.
And they have actually their campaign where every 2 burgers that they sell, they do they give one to the homeless. So just again, another way to, if they come, then we're helping support another cause that has an influence on the community. It has an influence on Salt Lake City and those types of things. So, I mean, anything. I've got friends that literally they do those little hand stitch type things that want to come and just hang out. And really, I want it to be something that's unique. It's local. It's what people in Salt Lake are interested in. Because as I've been saying for the past year or so to a bunch of people that I'm friends with, Salt Lake has just kind of hit that like 21-year-old threshold in my mind.
What do you mean by that? What
so before, with all the alcohol laws and just, it was kind of a younger city. The art scene wasn't really that big. It was kind of growing, but more underground. But over the past year or two, it started to blossom into this more adult, liberal city. I mean, you look at the Bernie Sanders rally.
Sure, man.
We're no longer a Mormon LDS driven city. That influence is still there, but it's like most of the community is now starting to see the value of, the arts community and of being a more liberal and adult city, I guess, for lack of a better term. And so I want to capitalize on that.
Do you know, I mean, I wonder, what is your thoughts on what has developed it to be that way? I mean, do you have any idea?
On why it became that way?
Yeah. I mean, why it's taken such a different direction, a different shift?
People are thinking for themselves.
Finally here, right? Maybe. I'm sure there's no right answer. I was just curious what your thought was, because I've seen it myself over the last 5 years. And it's like, wow, what is causing this? What is causing this change of thinking, this shifting of just the whole direction of the city?
Yeah, I think some of it is the community and people thinking for themselves, and finally you're seeing the generation that was kind of the rebellious LDS kids that are now growing up, and a lot of what's happening is people are breaking out. I grew up LDS myself, just as a side note.
Sure.
And stopped doing that on my own, but it wasn't because I have anything against the church, and that's really what happens with all of it, is they don't necessarily have anything against the LDS religion. They just realize that they can have their own opinion.
Well, and they're like, I don't want to move from Utah. It's a beautiful place to live.
Right. It's gorgeous.
So they're like, well, let's just make it an awesome place to live instead of leaving.
And there's tons to do. I mean, you go downtown, there's bars, there's entertainment. You go drive 20 minutes up the canyon, and all of a sudden you're in the middle of nature. So there's tons to do. And honestly, the other thing that I would attribute to a lot of the change is some of the music scene. You look at Imagine Dragons and Neon Trees and the Moth of the Flame. Just some of the artists that have come from Provo and Salt Lake City, and Neon Trees specifically. Tyler Glenn is, I've worked with him numerous times, and him coming out as gay, I think, was a huge influence on a lot of people in Utah specifically, because all of a sudden it was like, oh, here's this person that grew up 30 minutes from me, And we
in a
used
very
to watch
conservative
him
town.
in a really conservative town, not even Salt Lake conservative,
Yeah, no.
Provo conservative.
Yeah.
That's a huge difference. But now he's huge and still has a great positive message and is making music and doing what he wants to do. And I think some of that has influenced the dynamic shift in Salt Lake as well.
It's amazing how one person, like you were saying, could make such a change and a shift in the way people think.
Oh, I agree.
And so often I think, including myself, where I'm like, oh, I can't make a difference. I can't make a change. Nobody's going to listen to what I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
But you'd be surprised.
Oh,
and again, it goes back to with Music Makes Music and the Make It Louder Festival. One person can, just look at you with this festival. You're going to change Salt Lake for that day, really.
Yep.
I know it's a lot leading up to that day, but downtown is going to be a completely different atmosphere because of you, because of what you're creating. I don't think you mentioned the bands that are going to be playing. Is it all 100% confirmed yet?
Yep, everything's booked. So headlining, we have Story of the Year, so old school post-hardcore rock. And then we've got Grizz Folk, which is an up-and-coming kind of folk rock band.
Where are they from? Are they from
that's a good question.
Out of town, or
I hope they don't listen to this.
No. I didn't. Are they from Utah or
no? They're
out of town.
They're from back east.
Okay, I just didn't know local compared to
No, there's 5 that are not local. So Story of the Year, they're St. Louis. I know that. Grizz Folk, I want to say, is from back east. Then we have Emery, who's another kind of
bigger
experimental post-rock type thing. Dorothy, and then they're up and coming on Rock Nation. And then Mac Lethal, he's from Kansas City. He's probably one of the world's fastest hip-hop rappers. Very, very, he's just a white kid from Kansas, but incredibly talented. So he'll be there. And then locally we have Brogan Kelby, Broke City, who they actually just did their return show, I think this past weekend. So they just came back from a hiatus, but Joel Pack has been a friend of mine for a while. So I basically texted him and said, hey, I'm putting this show on. Do you want to come play? So we'll have him there. Jessica Freck will be there, and then Burnell Washburn. And then actually on the lower end of things, they're not local, but it's a friend of mine that has a band out in Ohio their names are Hand Practices. So that's the full lineup. So we'll have some locals that are a little bit more well-known here in Salt Lake and the surrounding areas. And then we've got some touring stuff too.
Man, that sounds like a heck of a show.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And I made sure specifically, everybody that is on this bill is very energetic and has a phenomenal live show. So that's part of the allure of it, is it's not, I don't want it just to be like bands playing music and people listening. I want it to be like people get involved and they just think it's a really cool experience. So you got guys doing backflips off drum risers and stuff, and anybody's going to pay attention to that.
And where can people get tickets right now? Obviously they're going to be available day of, but I'm sure there's...
Yeah, we'll be able, you can walk up and buy tickets. We'll have the ability to do that. Right now, they're all on sale if you go to the website, which is just milofestival.com. So MILO festival.com. And you can go there and see all the information about the show and what's going on. We try to post something daily, whether it's an interview with one of the artists or a spotlight, or a video, so you can kind of get a feel for who's going to be there if you don't know them, or even just a company spotlight for some of our sponsors. And then you can purchase tickets on the site as well.
Awesome. Now, okay, so explain to me how Music Makes Music, what are you actually doing with the show? What is your...
I'm grateful to be a part of this.
No, but okay, so
do you want to take this one?
Yeah, what...
So we connected at the last festival, Chill Fest, and he liked what we were doing. So kind of what he said, but we're the benefit. He loved what we did, and then you got to see you still haven't seen a show.
No,
are you going to play music then at all, Nick?
No.
Are you
our only ambassador band? So right now we're working. Another reason why we need a home office is we needed to develop more artists for our tour and cause. But right now we just have the one ambassador band going second. They're unavailable for the show, but we will be there. We'll be set up. We'll have our tent. We'll be in the VIP area, speaking, sharing our program. A lot of what this is just awareness.
Sure.
We're great.
And that's what I figured, yeah.
Just to be involved with it. we've only done this with a couple other big names. Styx has their own foundation. They brought us on when they tour through here. They've worked with us 3 or 4 times.
Wait, so you did something with Styx?
Yeah, Styx.
share that in a nutshell.
Tommy Shaw. So
what did you do with Styx?
Come sail away.
So many number ones. They have so many. Okay, just side note.
I mean, you brought it up, man.
Yeah.
I got to hear it.
You can't name drop that.
Yeah.
So Tommy Shaw's daughter reached out to us 3 years ago or so, and emailed me and said, we reach out to nonprofits in every city that we tour to, and usually she reaches out to animal shelters, or her big cause was animals. Well, there wasn't the animal shelter that she wanted to be a part of here, and she found Music Makes Music and said, you guys are amazing. You guys looks like you need some help. So
little sympathy there.
Yeah. So she's like, bring as many volunteers as you can, 10 to 20 volunteers out to USANA, and let's raffle off a guitar and have those proceeds go to Music Makes Music. Huge exposure. I mean, there's 10,000 plus there. It was like
plus
Styx.
You got to hang out with Styx or no?
Well, you got to meet Thomas Shaw, and
sure
didn't really hang out, but it's pretty cool walking backstage. They got so many couches.
Yeah. At USANA?
Yeah, green room.
I haven't been there. Yeah. Anyway,
just on the lawn couches. They just bring this up. So that was great, and we're grateful, and we still have that relationship. Every time they come through Wendover, they do usually once a year at the casino out there. Usually they come through Salt Lake every year or every other year with something at USANA. So that's huge. So that's big exposure, and it's also a way to raise money. We raised like $2,000 at USANA that time.
Well, no, that's cool. I mean, you're going to be at the festival. You're going to have a booth or something set up there, so people that are listening, they could even come and reach out to you there. And
exactly.
Connect with you there and come and chat with you and say, hey, I heard you on I Am Salt Lake.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool. I want to meet Nick Ferrari.
I don't know if they want to meet me, but I hope they do. Yeah. I mean, come meet Nick Ferrari. But no, we just partnered with, we were at the NAMM show, if you guys are familiar with that, out in Anaheim. And we it's a development for 3 years, but we partnered with PRS Guitars. And Story of the Year, that's one of their partners as well. So we're hoping we can do something really fun like we did with Styx, with a guitar on stage, signed, autographed, something like that. We don't know. It's still in development. But a way to have it fun for the audience and everybody there, and also get some cause recognition for our charity and what the work we're doing.
That's cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. I mean, seems like a really cool festival. I like to also I want to find out a little. What are some other, when you're not doing the festival, when you're not doing Music Makes Music? What else do you guys like to do? I mean, let's chat about that. I mean, I know you say you're doing like 18 hours a day with the festival.
Yeah, that's pretty much my life right now. But I play hockey.
Okay.
In spare time, over at the Olympic Oval, I play on a team over there. I've been playing since I was 5, so I basically just jumped on a rookie league and help coach some of the beginner adults and get out on the ice and play. And then I've been a musician since I was...
That's right, you said, and I don't
10.
think we got... What do you play, man? What do you play?
I mainly guitar and vocals, and then I can also play the drums and the piano and various other random instruments that...
It's really good stuff.
Don't really matter.
Are you playing in any bands right now here and there?
No, I just... right now I just do my own stuff. My friend Brian will play with me, and so I recorded an EP down in Texas, actually at Blue October's studio down there, and so we did that. He does a lot of the guitar work, like lead guitar stuff, but no bands. This is really the main focal point is the show right now, so I don't have time to,
because this is where all your energy is going into putting
the dream. If we go further, is a couple of years down the line to be able to put myself on something like this and go play, as well as help oversee it. But by that point, I'll have minions that will go oversee everything and do it for me.
Why aren't you playing anything with this?
We discussed that, honestly, but really what it came down to for me as the owner and as the head of the entire show, I thought it looked a little tacky for me to be going around and talking and networking with these businesses and sponsors and investors that are putting money into something. And then all of a sudden we get to the day of the show, and as the day moves on, suddenly I walk out on stage with a guitar and people are going, wait a minute. So is this really just like for him to be able to get some stage time, or so to keep it professional, decided to remove
I could see
myself
both
from
sides
it.
of that, though. I could see both sides.
And I've gotten people that have said I should have done it, and people that have said, yeah, I agree with you. I think that's smart. But
I have respect for that.
yeah. So for this one, we'll leave me off of it, and eventually down the line when it doesn't matter, then yeah, I would love to play a show like that. That'd be a blast. But for now, that and the time and the effort that goes into planning this, especially because it's 95% just me, I wouldn't even have time to really prepare anything other than maybe an acoustic set. So maybe I'll bring a guitar and go play up in VIP or something.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
What about you, Nick? What do you enjoy doing when you're not doing music? Music makes music.
I just got into real estate.
Yeah, we were chatting about that. Well, so if anybody needs to get a house or
right.
hit
And
Nick
Uber
up.
driving.
Yeah, NickFerrari.com.
He's the sexiest
And then
Uber driver ever.
I Lyft driver.
Lyft. My bad.
My car doesn't
My bad.
qualify for Uber.
Yeah.
It's two totally different companies.
Yeah.
So I drive for Lyft.
Yeah, so maybe if there, you might get Nick one of these nights if you're at a bar downtown.
Yep.
Well, it's fun. This is kind of ownership. This is my city. I
Yeah.
love it. This is my roots. I've been here for 12 plus years, and so it's cool to meet like the city. You'd be blown away who has gotten in my car.
Well, okay. Do you care to share? Do you have any crazy Lyft stories?
It's
recording?
nothing like extreme. I did pick up the wrong person once. That was just my first week on the west side of town. That was a bad idea.
And they got in the car?
I think he wanted.
Get in my car. No, you're supposed to get in.
He waved me down. He waved me down. But I figured out real quickly that it wasn't him, and he was just kind of looking for something.
Have you ever had anybody just vomit in your car, throw up all over?
Yeah, I've had 2 vomits in my car.
See, and I never had any. And all those I did so many Lyft and Uber drives back when I never anybody ever throw up.
Well, they cover you. They give you.
Oh yeah, sure. But you still don't
didn't
want it.
Yeah, I just made I didn't make them. I just looked at them, and they cleaned it up.
They cleaned it up.
Because I was dropping both situations. No, it wasn't. It wasn't that bad. It was off the seat. But most situations, we were driving to their house. They were from the bar. It was late at night, and one of it was his girlfriend, and she was just out, and she threw up. And he's like, "Wait, stay here. I'll do this." And then he threw me a spot of 20, so that was good.
Did you still charge him though through Uber or Lyft?
No,
though? Did you
that's cool.
Send him the cleaning fee.
No, $20 was good, and he cleaned it up.
Sure.
Yeah.
But no crazy stories, huh? I don't really have any either though.
See, the thing
Any
is,
hot girls that tried to,
See, I always had like drunk girls being like, "Oh, you should come in with me" and stuff. But then it was just like, "Oh yeah, just get out of my car."
yeah, I got to make money, girl. No, that's happened a couple of times, but no, it's just I miss Uber because there's a little bit different clientele. I can't drive for Uber anymore with my car, but
it's not the right year for people listening.
Right,
it's not like he got kicked off for reckless driving.
Yeah,
his
I'm a great
car
driver.
wasn't new enough.
But it would pick in Uber or sometimes Lyft. We'd the outdoor expo. So much fun. There's like 10 to 15,000 people that come into town for that.
Sure, man.
So you'd pick these guys up or girls, and they get in early. Like, hey, I'm going to go hike that mountain. And I'd take them to Park City. And so you really get to know somebody in a 45, 50-minute drive. And, they're from all over the world for this expo. And they're, 40, 50 plus. And they're just fit and they're outdoor. Really fun people, usually like the CEOs of their own company or so, trying to, demo their product at this expo. And it was a cool way to, of course, my passion, music makes music. It was a cool way to share
network, man,
and network with the program and share the cause. And so I built these relationships over last year and the year before driving that I may have never had otherwise opportunity to meet these people and have them sit in my car. I mean, one of the guys was, and I still thank you I need to connect with him again. He was one of the CFOs for Ernst & Young.
There you go.
Yeah. So somebody that's connected to a little bit of money and has some influence in the Park City area and just a great guy. Awesome. Super cool guy.
Yeah.
So I love those. I love those relationships. And
well, that's why I love that part when I was doing the Uber and Lyft driving. Maybe I need to get back out there and do it, man. But then Nick's over here. No, you'll take all my rides.
Get off my block, bro.
Get out of here.
I miss when you could see. So the program I hadn't done it for 3 months.
The cars you could see.
Yeah.
The cars.
So I just got back in a couple weeks ago, but before you'd be able to see names of the cars.
Oh, I remember that, man. You'd be like, "Oh,
man,
Jim's
now
over
it's just the
there, Frank's
cars.
over there." You
Yeah.
know? But the driver mode, you could see that.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
it was designed to be like, hey, meet up with other drivers, go out, I don't know, whatever.
I never did that though. Did you ever go meet up with other drivers?
No.
Yeah. Anyway, that's Lyft talk, and Michael's over
Seems
here.
like a stretch.
Just no, but it's so fascinating because it seems like everybody's an Uber or Lyft driver now. You know, like I meet so many people that do it. It's like, oh, yeah.
I think, well, I mean, as the charity hopefully finds funding and I can spend more time with that. The only reason I'm not spending as much time with the Music Makes Music as I hope to and dream to is because the funding's not there. You got to take care of your own. Yeah. So once real estate for me kind of takes off, hopefully, then I can do this still for fun, you know, and to meet people.
That's an interesting way to meet people. I've thought about doing it. I just don't have the time to do it.
Yeah,
right
sure.
now.
Well, that's why I'm not doing a whole lot. Let's talk about Salt Lake City. What would you change if you could change something about Salt Lake City?
I was talking with some of the guys over at downtown Salt Lake the other day, and we were chatting about some of that. And I think the next thing you're going to start to see really pick up is going to be the music and the art scene. Because there's stuff like Twilight, and that is huge, obviously. And then there's Red Butte, and there's concert series. There's great venues and bars around town. And I think that's really, if you go to like Austin or San Diego and those types of things, a lot of local music in Salt Lake gets really taken for granted of. And arts, you know, local artists or painters or sculptors or whatever it is, a lot of that type of a scene is not really as big as it should be here. I mean, there's events that have things that are promoted, but again, you go outside of Salt Lake and to an Austin or a New York City or San Diego, you can literally walk from bar to bar to bar and see a different band at each one, and it's packed because people just know that you're going to go out, you're going to see good music, and you can just walk around downtown. We have the ability to do that, but people, especially from my time of playing when I used to be in a band and going and trying to play bars, most bars, A, won't pay you, and B, they sometimes will want you to pay them to be able to go play the show. And so that tends to deter from anybody coming out to that type of a show because it's not really promoted. Nobody's really paying attention to it or making it what it should be or could be. Because again, there's a ton of talent in Salt Lake. And it needs to be recognized, not just at the Arts Festival, not just at the Living Traditions Festival or something like that, or for that matter, not even at Make It Louder. Like that's just an effort to try to continue it, but it just needs to be a consistent realization that we have a very sophisticated culture and a lot of art and a lot of music and a lot of things that are there that need to be supported.
Yeah. So, I mean, get out and support music.
Go watch a local band. Even if they suck, go watch them anyways. Because then you have the story of being like, do you remember that band that was just awful? I think they were called Going Second or something like that.
Man, you know it.
What about you, Nick? Is there anything in particular that comes to mind?
I was going to say something else, but once you said that, I mean, that really hits home because, I mean, that is my passion. You know?
Sure,
any day of the week, my friends will say, "Hey, my best friends are the ones that are really into music." And like, hey, there's this band playing. Come see us. Come see it. Let's go out to it. So I'd love to see more of that. And it is tough, especially for club owners or you know, the music scene here to keep their doors open because, you know, what is it, pay to play now? I mean, I don't, geez.
In a lot of places,
I'm out of the scene, but.
And that seems like such a horrible way to do things.
But the problem is, and this is me speaking with my promoter hat on, Utah is awful with anything. If it's Justin Bieber, yeah, everyone's going to go pre-sale buy tickets because he's just a huge name and everyone wants to go see him. But the problem is, even with something like a Make It Louder, the majority of the sales that we're going to get and the people that are going to come to that show are going to be walk up because Utah is so indecisive about anything. They want to wait until the last minute just in case something better comes up. So rather than committing and supporting, even just going to a local bar and saying, hey, I'm going to go see my friend, you know, let's grab a group and go down there, they're still going to wait until the night of. And if, you know, DJ whoever ends up coming to town, they want to go see that, and it's the same night as their friend's band, you're losing half your crowd to the DJ just because it's not that important. Nobody understands the the point of music, really.
So that goes back to even the stress that I was talking about. If you're just anticipating, everyone's going to walk up day of the festival. I mean,
well, we're trying to avoid that.
Sure.
We're doing as much as we can to make sure that we have numbers going into it. Sure. But yeah, I guarantee the majority of it is going to be a walk, especially being downtown, because you're going to get people that are just going to walk by.
And what is this festival?
Yeah, what's happening? What is that? So the other thing that I did want to mention, it's completely off topic. The other way that they're involved is we actually will have partial proceeds that'll go to them. So every ticket that we're selling, we're making sure that that Music Makes Music gets a cut of that. So you're not only supporting, paying to come see the concert and then being able to meet them and get the awareness, but there also is a financial benefit that's going into
it. And
I
was thinking of asking that, but I didn't want to put you on the spot.
No, that's
are you going to give him some money here? And then you were
the awareness is great, but money is also huge.
You're like, oh shoot, I didn't even think about giving you any money, Nick, from this. That's great. That's great. So I mean, people buy a ticket in advance. I mean, then you can support some great causes.
This is the biggest thing we've ever been a part of.
That's great,
say
man.
Bigger than a lot of these artists that we've worked with, because we're the official charity partner for this.
Yeah.
And it's our home city. So it's great. I mean, we're, like I said, a little bit of the money goes to us and we're fine.
Favorite local eating spots? I ask this every show.
I like this topic.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a random question, man, but it's just, again, to kind of support some local eating here in Salt Lake. And who wants to go first here? Who wants to, share one or two.
No, I'm kind of a food snob, so I'm a big fan of Cafe Molise or Molise. I never know how to pronounce it, but they're the Italian place
about.
downtown.
So yeah.
And then right next door is BTG, the wine bar, which I am obsessed with. And then Eva and Mediterrina. Those are two of my favorite places.
All great places.
Sapa if we're going sushi, but who doesn't love sushi? So.
Always love sushi, man.
Yeah. I'll do Sapa for the pho. I don't know why, but their pho is pretty great.
Any other places, Nick?
Not really. Finca, I really
Finca
like
is phenomenal.
And maybe it's just the atmosphere, because I'm in love with the downtown Finca. I guess it's the only one now, but yeah, I'll go in there. They have the coffee shop right inside. So it's a separate entity, but the coffee, and I gave him an Uber driver.
Right. Yeah, there you go.
You gave the owner of Finca?
No, just the coffee shop inside it. But it's a cool place.
Didn't they just start the distillery too? They have like a tequila, the owners of Finca.
I don't know.
I swear I read something.
I need to get him on the podcast.
They have a local tequila or something like that.
There's a lot of that.
Dude, there's so much distilleries,
that one
breweries.
The one that just opened up downtown too.
Oh,
the rum place.
I know. It's on the tip of my tongue.
They
Starts
just
with a
had
D,
on
West
just
Temple?
had their grand opening.
Yeah.
One on
I want
West
to say
Temple.
Dent something, but that's not right.
No, I know what you're.
I wanted to go to the grand opening, but I had my son, so couldn't really do that.
No, there is so much of that going on here, and that's rad, man. It's that's picking up, and stuff's
If
happening.
any of those guys listen, we're looking for partners for the festival that are local breweries and spirits, because our VIP area is going to be very different than a normal VIP area. So it's not going to be you can purchase a ticket to get up into that room. That room is going to be very specific to local business owners and representatives. Music Makes Music will be up there. We'll be playing a video every 20 minutes, or their video that's on the website, just to make sure people are aware of it. And then doing a bunch of other stuff just to make it more of a networking atmosphere. So really the idea being go up, have a couple drinks, grab some food, which will again be a local place so that they can get some exposure and be in front of other businesses as far as their food and their drinks go, and then go watch the show and bring a clip of business cards and talk to other people that have the same mentality. Again, building a sustainable city.
And I don't know. I mean, maybe you don't want me to mention it, but you invited me to come do some podcast stuff there.
I was wondering if we were going to talk about that. I wasn't sure.
I wasn't sure. I was like, well, should I bring that up? That I'm going to be taking the podcast stuff there. And
I've run that by my partners and they love it. They think it's a great idea.
Well, no, I thank you so much for the opportunity to. And that's what's great about my setup is it's portable.
Yeah, you can bring it with you.
And so it's I'm excited to see what I can create and kind of even document some of the festival,
Right.
with
Which I think it would be a blast.
But
I think it's going to be very cool.
Anyway, as we kind of wind this down, I mean, anything more with the festival you want to mention that we didn't maybe talk about, or that run down the list again? I guess.
I know, right? I think we covered pretty much everything. I mean,
yeah. I mean, just the bands, and I'll get all those on
we'll
linked up with the website podcast. I mean, it's gonna be a great day. I mean, it's a Saturday in May. Yep. I mean, I'm already predicting the weather's going to be perfect.
I know. Well, I know there's another show. A big ass show is the weekend before, and they're notorious for having the rainy day. So I'm hoping that continues, and we just have the good day.
Yeah. Well, even if it's a little dreary or
no, we should. May's usually been a decent month over the past few years, so I'm hoping that it pays off, and we've got some good weather, and we're gonna have a bunch of really cool stuff down there, and great music, and good people, obviously. Again, The whole point is good concert, community, and cause. That's kind of our tagline right now is concert, community, cause.
Cool. And then run down Music Makes Music. The website for that, Nick, is
musicmakesmusic.org.
And anything more you want to say on that? Or?
I mean, the big part of this program is we get to invite all of our fans.
Sure.
We don't do anything in this home city of ours. So now we can reach out to all of Going Seconds fans and all of our community and really invite them to this event. So it's really cool to.
Dude, I'm excited for it.
I am too.
I really,
it's gonna be a blast.
I really am. I thank you so much for reaching out. I've had a great time chatting. I definitely encourage people to reach out to both of you.
Definitely.
And see what they can do to get involved with either one of whatever you're doing. I mean, with Music Makes Music or Make It Louder, get tickets, go check out the event. You might see me there even,
It's true. Well, just look for the beard.
Yeah, look for the beard. But thank you so much, guys. I've had a fun time chatting, and we'll end it there, I guess.
Awesome.
Cool. Thanks,
you.
Chris.
You bet. All right. Many thanks goes out to Michael Barclay and Nick Ferrari for coming on this episode. That was a really cool conversation. I loved finding out more about the Make It Louder Festival, Music Makes Music. I'm going to be doing some podcasting actually at the Make It Louder Festival. I'm going to be doing chatting with some of the bands there. So if you make it out to the festival and you see me, make sure to come up and say hi. I always love to meet the listeners of I Am Salt Lake. Hey, so listen, like I mentioned, this is your opportunity to win 2 VIP passes to the show. This is what it's going to include. It's going to include a pit pass, access to the lounge area upstairs, which is fully catered with alcohol and food. Chances are I'm going to be up there as well. So you're going to get a chance to meet me, maybe come on an episode of I Am Salt Lake, as well as photo ops with the artists in a commemorative lanyard. Pretty cool deal. This is how you do it. I mean, what you're going to want to do is go to the Make It Louder Facebook page. And if you need to know how to get there, then you can go to iamsaltlake.com/219 for episode 219. Go to the Make It Louder Facebook page and just type in I Am Salt Lake. It's all you got to do. Go onto their Facebook page, type in I Am Salt Lake on the Make It Louder Facebook page. You need to do this by April 30th, Saturday, April 30th, 11:59. You have an opportunity to win 2 VIP passes to the Make It Louder Festival happening at the Gallivan Center Saturday, May 14th. It's an all-day event. This is going to be killer. You're going to want to make sure to be there. And so all you got to do to win those 2 VIP tickets is go to the Make It Louder Facebook page and write I Am Salt Lake. Really simple, folks. Really, really simple. If you're listening to this after April 30th, if you didn't win those VIP tickets, I hope to see you there at the Make It Louder Festival. It's going to be a fun day. It's going to be a really cool thing. But like I mentioned, iamsaltlake.com is the website. Head on over there. Find out more about myself. Find out more about the podcast. You can support the podcast by going to the website as well. There's a donate button where you can send on over a one-time donation. It really is very important that the podcast does get some financial help to keep the podcast going and moving forward. You can become a monthly donor by going to iamsaltlake.com/donate. And there's some different monthly options, and your support will not go unnoticed. It is really important. There's a lot of big projects coming up with this podcast, web hosting, audio hosting, new equipment that I'm going to be needing to buy here in the very near future. And if you can't support, it's not the end of the world. I still love you. You can support the podcast by sharing any of your favorite episodes. Share them on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram. Share it with your family and friends. Don't make this podcast your dirty little secret. Share your love of Salt Lake. Get it out there. I know I've chatted with a few hundred people. There's got to be somebody on the I Am Salt Lake roster that you're really stoked about and that you want to share that interview. So I'm here every week. Make sure to subscribe. Subscribe in iTunes or Stitcher Radio. If you haven't left a review in iTunes, make sure to do that. So, hey, that's it. Get out and enjoy the city. It's going to be a beautiful week here in Salt Lake City. Get out and support local and love the city you live in. Bye.